Hello all, is me, Jeremy Senpai, and for today's video we have something very special indeed. You see, with the Owl House Season 3 coming next month, I figured I would do something very special, and once a week I would do an Owl House themed video, because there is a lot to talk about, there's a lot to analyze, so I kind of wanted to do that. And for today's video, this is something I've really been passionate about. You all remember the episode Hollow Mind, where Luz and Hunter got inside Emperor Belos, or should I say Philip's mind? Well, that is definitely one of my favorite and most rewatched episodes, because it tells us so much, and yet there's still so many questions and secrets behind it all. But what really sets it apart are these. That's right, the paintings that we all saw in the background of the Emperor's mindscape. You see, think about it this way, Dana Terrace and the crew went for the trouble to tell us about the Wittebane brothers' backstory, but there's a good chance that they may not be able to tell us the story per se with the limited amount of time that they've got left. But that being said, they still went through the effort to give us this. So I figured that together we could have a look at this, try to piece together Philip and Caleb's backstory, and also I'm going to share a few thoughts I have regarding it. There are some things that have been confirmed, some things not so much, and some things are just up for speculation. But that being said, together we're going to go through the pictures of the Emperor's mind and see if we can piece together the backstory of Philip and Caleb Wittebane. Let's get started, everybody. Alright, we're going to start with with the first photo up here, because if you notice, most of the pictures are kind of in a set order. Alright. Here we have Caleb and Philip, and of course we have Caleb scratched out. But if you look in the background, it obviously tells us what time period they're in during the Connecticut witch trials, which I think predates the Salem witch trials by at least 30 years. I don't remember the exact date, so feel free to tell me down below. But obviously this tells us about their childhood, that they embraced the Puritan witch hunter lifestyle. Okay, now we move on to this photo here, which is blurred out, but it basically shows the Wittebane brothers churning butter together. Again, another indication about the time period that they're from. And now, photo number 3 here, we see Caleb, face scratched out again. This time he's carving what would eventually be a precursor to the Emperor Belos mask. And here we have Philip happily watching. Now, with wood carving being so essential to Caleb, I actually have a pretty interesting theory that I'll share a bit later. And now we move on here where we see Philip wearing the same Belos mask, and he's playing a game with Caleb. But not just any game, they're actually playing Witch Hunter. You know, kind of similar to that game that Terra Snapdragon had the witches in training play together. Wilds vs. Covens, I think is what it was called. But basically, I think we have Caleb here in the place of the witch, and Philip here in the place of the witch hunter. And now, here we have them. They look like they're a bit older. If I guess, they're probably at least in their early teens. Now, here we have what looks like a witch using magic in front of them. And here we have Caleb, who's interested, walking closer to it, while Philip here is in the background, scared to approach. Obviously showing the Puritan society ideals. This is magic done by a witch. He is supposed to hate and fear witches, but Caleb here isn't. And now we cut over here where it looks like they're a bit older too. Maybe they're entering their late teens to early 20s. But if you look over here, you can see the body of the Titan. I know this isn't the full view of the picture, but in all the ones I've seen, it is the body of the Titan, showing that Caleb and Phillip have made it to Boiling Isles. Maybe their witch friend helped them get there. Maybe there was a leak of Titan blood. I don't know. But either way, it basically shows them entering the Boiling Isles for the first time. And now we come over here. Obviously, they're a bit older again here too, because of Philip's beard. And here we see the figures of Caleb and a witch. Now, a popular fan theory is that because of the shape of this witch, it's actually an ancestor of the Clawthorn family. Because remember, when they introduced Ida's mother, Gwen, she talked about how her grandmother knew that there was a human that survived here in the Boiling Isles. I like to think that part of the reason for that is because knowing that there's a human who survived in Boiling Isles would be part of a family secret. And when I say family, I mean family. Because take a look here, they're hand in hand, and if you see the Clawthorn witch right here, she is very visibly pregnant. So obviously this tells us that Caleb and the witch most likely fell in love, and of course we have Phillip here angrily watching them walking off together, because think about it, they were born into a society of witch hunters. They were taught to hate and fear witchcraft. So how much of a betrayal is that? Your own brother falling in love with the enemy. And now we cut over right here, where it looks like Phillip, after embracing wild magic, probably jumps out, and it looks like he's about ready to attack Caleb and the Clawthorn witch, because he has his hands raised outwards, like he's about ready to attack them. And then we cut to the next one, where it looks like Caleb is hugging his brother while he's in his wild magic form. You know, the classic, I know you're my brother, you would never actually do this. And yeah, he looks so much like Hunter, especially from the poster and for season 3 now. But yeah, we have Caleb, who's basically talking down Phillip, trying to bring him back to sanity, which I'm assuming it works eventually. And now we cut to the next one, where Caleb is introducing Phillip to his witch lover, probably trying to do it for the right reasons now, you know, be formal and all that. As in, Phillip, I would like for you to meet Grandma Clawthorn over here. But as you can see, Phillip has the jagged knife behind his back, obviously meaning that he wants to attack the witch. And then we cut right here. Where we see the background here covered in fire. And we see the Wittebane brothers fighting each other. Obviously, Phillip wants to try and kill the witch. But of course, Caleb wants to defend her because she's the love of his life. And I can see it playing out kind of like this, where Caleb is trying to talk down his brother, just like he did right here, but Phillip is probably all like, "It's okay, brother, you're only this way because of that witch, because that she-devil. Don't worry, once I kill her, you'll be back to normal." And then we cut over right here, where we see Caleb's body laying right here, we see the knife, and here in the reflection is Phillip's eyes, coldly going over what he just did, probably with little to no remorse. And then we cut right here where we see the Clawthorn witch, which now that we get to see her body more, definitely looks like Ida. She's still very visibly pregnant, her hair matches Ida and Gwen's, and she is using a spell on Phillip, sorry. And a popular fan theory of this is that she attacked him because it looks like that they're still in Connecticut, that they're still on Earth. So, in other words, she basically attacks Philip, sending him to Boiling Isles probably as a punishment, and she probably would have followed him not long after. And to return home, maybe even go after him, but she's pregnant right now, so she can't risk it. But either way, because Caleb died, she wanted to get him. She wanted to get revenge on him, so she attacked him, had him sent to Boiling Isles, and over here is where we see Philip start to integrate himself into witch culture. He introduces himself to the witches of Bonesborough, saying, "Hello, my name is Phillip Wittebane." And if we check behind him, here is his journal, where of course he starts fabricating some stories. Some things obviously would be truth, but most of it would be heroic embellishments. And then here we see his arm, obviously, where he starts carving the glyphs into his arm, so that way he can start using them. But at the same time, between that and the talismans that he starts to absorb, it obviously starts to corrupt him a bit. And of course, we see him here with the Emperor Belos mask. Maybe it's a new one, maybe it's the same one that Caleb made when they were kids. But either way, we see him start to absorb the power from talismans, just like he does so as Emperor Belos. And over here, we see him with the full golden Emperor Belos mask, fully embracing his new persona, staring back at himself, obviously, through a mirror. And since we're on the subject of mirrors, here he is right here with that same knife. And if you look here, we can see his face a little covered, and he's covering his ears too. Because I would like to think that he actually did this to carve his ears out to make them look like the witches too. So Emperor Belos would pass easy as a member of the Boiling Isles as a witch, and not a human that came here from another world. Because that just makes sense when you think about it. Because remember from the episode where Lilith and Luz kind of went time traveling back to meet Philip, because he basically says that Phillip Wittebane got kicked out of too many towns, which obviously we saw in that episode. Phillip Wittebane got kicked out of too many towns, so Philip became Belos. Okay, that was a lot to digest, and I definitely hope I didn't lose anybody, because here is where I start to share my ideas and my theories regarding this. So, as I just suggested, it is very possible that Caleb and the Clawthorn ancestor probably have a romantic relationship. Maybe Caleb is the baby daddy, kind of the great-great-great-great-great-grandfather to Ida and Lilith. But I would also like to point out, what if he introduced something else to the Clawthorns? Did you figure it out? Did you figure it out yet? I'm talking about wood carving. Because when we met Ida's father, Del, he mentioned how the Clawthorn family were skilled carvers, specifically when it came to talismans. So, what if Caleb introduced that to the Clawthorn family? So that way it would help them better with their talisman carving. Just some food for thought. But it definitely makes sense. Everything basically coming full circle when you think about it enough. Caleb Wittebane introduced wood carving to the Clawthorns, who in turn would use it to apply talismans, who, of course, Belos, Phillip Wittebane, would use the talismans in order to gain more magic power. It's all connected, everybody, when you really think about it. And like I said in the last video, and as I've been talking about, Caleb and Philip were born in the Puritan Society of Witch Hunters. Everybody talks about the Salem witch trials, but not a lot of people talk about the Connecticut witch trials, which Dana Terrace, the Wittebane brothers, and Luz are all from. And it does predate the Salem witch trials by at least 30 years. So with that in mind, obviously a lot of those ideas would be passed down and to a degree are still practiced or at the very least talked about today. I mean, we saw this a bit with Jacob Hopkins, which I just now realized, hear me out for a bit, there's a point to this. This guy, Matthew Hopkins, the Witch Finder General. So yeah, when they introduced Jacob Hopkins in the episode where Luz got to talk to her mom again, like, oh, Yesterday's Lie, that was the name of it. They did give us a little bit of an Easter egg when it came to Jacob Hopkins, because the Witchfinder General, Matthew Hopkins. So, just something interesting I figured I would share right there. And this may seem like a throwaway thing, but no. I think they're trying to indicate that Jacob Hopkins may be a descendant of Matthew Hopkins himself, the Witchfinder General from the Connecticut witch trials. Again, another brilliant piece of storytelling by Dana Terrace. And just like how I said, I'm going to be posting, every week I'm going to be posting a new analysis video regarding the Owl House. There's a lot I want to talk about, and what better time than what's leading up to Season 3's premiere. And when you know it, it is just in time for Halloween, my favorite holiday out of the whole year. But I think it's time that we wrap things up. This is Jeremy Senpai signing off. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you want to see more great content from me, please help me reach my goal of 500 subscribers by the end of the year. I can't thank you guys enough. I really hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something new, something interesting. And as usual, take care everybody.